Welcome to Synergize. I'm Bill Capel, Director of Client Growth at TradePMR by Robinhood.
And I'm Ryan Neal, Editorial Manager at TradePMR by Robinhood. And welcome to our Synergy Summer Series. We're taping these from the conference floor at Synergy 26 in Washington, D.C.
That's right, Ryan. We're live here in Washington, D.C. And all summer long, we're going to be sharing plenty of insights and actionable ideas that you can use to build your business.
So let's get into the episode. And welcome back to the Synergize podcast. We're coming to you from the conference hall floor here at Synergy 26 in Washington, D.C. I'm flying solo. Bill Capel, my co-host, is on assignment, but we're bringing in one of our local D.C. guys here. He is the Senior Vice President, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary at Robinhood, Mr. Lucas Moskowitz. Lucas, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we have at Robinhood an impressive, to say the least, lineup of regulator folks and lawyers, everything. In your career, I'm just going to read it off here. You worked at a major big law firm, went to the SEC, worked on Capitol Hill, and now you've rejoined your old boss, Mr. Dan Gallagher, who also came on the podcast with us at Robinhood. So I'm just curious about, learning from your experience. What can you tell the financial advice audience about what they need to know in terms of the regulatory environment?
So you mentioned I used to work for Dan, work for him now. I've had the privilege of working with some great folks over the years, some great mentors, Dan being one of them, Jay Clayton, who was former SEC chairman, and a number of others, too many to list, but you learn a lot from those folks about not only how to practice law, but they're very pragmatic people, they're problem solvers, they're markets people, they understand how markets work, and I've tried to learn from that and bring that into these various roles you mentioned in government, outside of government. I had the good fortune of spending a number of years on the Hill at the SEC, and then of course in private practice and now at a very innovative company, Robinhood. And so there's a lot going on. All the time. And now it's a little bit more on the front foot, more innovation, more growth than there was in years past with the change of administration, which is very exciting. But of course, all of that brings with it regulatory and legal considerations, which are hard at work on every day. The regulators are, I think, very amenable to having these conversations now and figuring out, hey, what's the path forward on all of these big issues we're talking about: crypto, prediction markets, AI. And so again, very exciting time. There's lots happening on the regulatory front here in DC, and hopefully we'll start to see some movement on some big initiatives they want to get done soon.
What can you tell us about how that career you've had has helped shape your perspective around guardrails that protect investors versus and allowing that innovation and balancing those things? How has your perspective been shaped through your career?
Yeah, it's a great question, and the way you put it, it's balance, right? You have to balance having the right safeguards in place, but also innovating, giving customers more choice, more access. That's what this country is all about. That's what we're all about at Robinhood. And so, I had the good fortune of seeing it on both sides. I sat in the enforcement division at the SEC, or working for Commissioner Dan, working for the chairman, and seeing some really good stuff and some really bad stuff. And so that gives you a real appreciation. Like there are a lot of bad actors out there, and there always will be, and it's unfortunate. The capital markets are inherently in some sense risky, and so you see that, and you got to carry that over when you come to into the private sector and you're trying to grow and innovate again, trying to provide access and choice. So how do you balance that? And that's what we do every day at Robinhood, and it's not mutually exclusive by any stretch. Those are quite complementary goals. We can have the protections and guardrails in place both at the regulatory level and the products we offer at Robinhood, but also have them be groundbreaking products that get more people into the market, that save people money, that get people participating more. And so that is the foundation of actually what the SEC's mission is, and our mission too. The SEC has a mission to protect investors, but it's also part of that mission is fair and orderly and efficient markets and capital formation, just like ours, is to give customers access and choice, but have a safety first or safety always approach to it.
So with TradePMR coming aboard, a whole new world, right, of wealth advisors, and with that comes new regulations, new things to consider. So I know, talking from advisors from my days as a reporter, that they're always watching the SEC. There's always moves going back and forth, and what they have to keep up with. So, what can you share with them right now? What's on your mind? What do you think are some of the biggest trends that are impacting advisors right now?
Yeah, so look, super exciting to have TradePMR on board with us. It's a massive need in the market across all kind of segments of the market, is to have these various different offerings and different products, and advisory is hugely important there. It's something that I, of course, spent many years on, in and out of government, working on advisory type issues, and so it's very exciting.
You're familiar with advisors.
Familiar with it, yeah. Look, one of the biggest things now, and we don't have enough time to go through all of the different things that I'm sure advisors are focusing on and excited about and worried about, but AI is a huge one, right? And we've got a lot of different players in the AI space. You've got some that are regulated, some that are not regulated. The kind of offerings in the financial space are starting to kind of they're merging together for regulated platforms, unregulated platforms. And so what's the future of AI in financial advice is going to be, I think, a very, very
big
interesting topic and business opportunity over the next several years here. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play out, but I think there's a tremendous opportunity to kind of serve customers better with AI. I don't think we're ever going to lose the human element, and I don't think we should. But how do we provide even better products and services to customers using technology? That's kind of core to what we do, to what I think TradePMR does too. And so that's going to be a big opportunity.
Cool, absolutely. So another thing that you've been talked about a lot in your career is modifying the accredited investor regulations. And we had a big announcement yesterday at our conference around bringing IPO access for advisors to our platform. Can you talk about this sort of changing environment for IPOs? I know our compliance folks over here might get nervous. We'll keep it on the top level. But what is that doing with changing the market, allowing more retail investors and financial advisors to participate in these markets, and what sort of effect do you see that having?
Yeah. So the backstory here, right, is you have fewer public companies now than you had 20 years ago. Significantly fewer companies are staying private. They're staying private longer. And of course, there are regulatory restrictions in place. The accredited investor definition is the big one that prevent the vast majority of retail customers from participating in the private markets, where a lot of growth is happening. Right? That's a fairness issue. That's an issue for the economy. That's an issue, of course, for the end investor too. And so, we got back to your question about how do you balance access and innovation and protection? Right? This is a key and really good example of that. How do we let more retail into the market, but continue to have the right guardrails around that participation, so that people can do it as safely as possible? So we've been talking to regulators and policymakers about this consistently now for a while. It's really ramped up recently, and we're going in and proposing a number of different solutions on how do we do this as safely as possible, because it's a big gap in the market right now, and it's got to be fixed. And we're doing it as well, with market-driven solutions like Robinhood Ventures and things like that. But we also want to attack this from the regulatory standpoint and say, hey, are our rules right now for the current age? Are they fair? Do they make sense with the way retail participates these days? And can we allow more access and participation, give people the opportunity to participate in these growth stories, while having the right rules in place?
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, Lucas, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to move to wrap up, and what we do on this podcast, we like to leave our audience with sort of an actionable piece of advice, something they can take back home, or if they're listening at home, take to their practice at work and put in place. I guess for you, maybe give it a taste. What's one thing that you're going to share on stage that you really want financial advisors to know and take home with them? Yeah,
I would say pay attention to what's happening here in Washington.
Okay.
It's become, for better or worse, maybe one of, if not the biggest financial capitals in the world right now, because of the importance of the regulatory environment of the government.
Sure.
And so we'll talk a lot about some of these issues with Assistant Secretary Pettit over at the Treasury.
Yep.
But there's a lot happening every day, and it's developing really quickly. And if you don't pay attention to that stuff, you're really you're missing out on kind of where the future of all this is going. Because again, for better or worse, DC plays a big role in markets now.
All right, well, you heard it. Pay attention to DC. So that sounds good. So Lucas, thank you so much for taking time to join the podcast and go crush it up on the Synergy stage. We appreciate you being here.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.